Dave Thomas, 3 minutes.
Okay, I'd like to use those 3 minutes to talk about thermite. And thermite just burns way too slow for a timed, controlled demolition. And plus, it's really extremely difficult to apply to vertical beams without lots of giveaway cladding and devices. And Dr. Harrod did a paper with Stephen Jones, and they did some interesting and scientifically correct methods, but they missed the big picture. They did not test for the things that would have proved it to be thermite, and all the sort of bilayered thermitic material in that paper is most likely floor truss primer paint produced by the Laclede Steel Company, and this burns at 430 degrees centigrade, just as shown in Dr. Harrod's paper, unlike thermite, which combusts at 850 to 950 degrees centigrade. Mark Basile, who's a truther who analyzed that, found like 1.68% aluminum and 2.63% iron composition, and mostly carbon, over 70% carbon. That is not thermite. Thermite is major parts of aluminum and iron oxide, so it's got aluminum, iron, and oxygen, and to have just, 2% of aluminum and iron, that's not thermite. Another big problem was that Dr. Harrod's experiments were performed in air, where oxygen can promote burning of, say, paint chips. And those experiments need to be repeated in an inert atmosphere like argon, and I request that Dr. Harrod consider doing that test.
I was jumping around for joy when I heard Mr. Thomas actually endorsing the application of nanothermite to the World Trade Center. He was admitting that all the characteristics of our findings, he didn't mention that the stuff was reacting, producing elemental iron, but I assume that as when he characterized this as thermitic paint. This was what David Thomas told us. Now, we call it painted on thermite eventually. So if Mr. Thomas called it thermitic paint, I can easily live with the difference. So I welcome you, Mr. Thomas, on board on the thermitic paint team, and because this was basically what you said.
Basically, Richard Gage has an organization that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And I encourage Richard Gage to get an independent lab. Doesn't have to be in America if you don't think any American lab can do it. Get a good, reputable, non-truther European lab to test for thermite.
Okay, up next is Richard Gage. 1 minute.
Okay.
I'll leave the nanothermite opportunity to Niels. Regarding our income here, it's a common attack, if you will. I make about half the income I had as an architect, and I'm working about 3 times the number of hours. And one of the